Hello guys, so I decided to do my project based on Alice in Wonderland, which is a movie that I love, and actually their visual effects and their composite breakdowns, they are over the top amazing. And let's just start with the trailer. Then I'm gonna stop through some scenes on the trailer, trying to explain what I did, and later on, so then you guys can have a more of a visualization of the of what I was gonna talk about here. They have this video here with all, not all, but like some of the breakdowns that I will go through this one right here. So let's start with the trailer. Woohoo! I hope I'm recording this. Yeah.
There is a place like no place on earth. A land full of wonder, mystery, and danger. Some say to survive it, you need to be as mad as a heifer. Which luckily, I am. Alice, you're terribly late, you know. Naughty.
Okay, awesome. Love expectations. So let's start from the beginning. So on this scene right here, this scene here doesn't have a lot of composite breakdowns, maybe just some passes they did, so then the light and the whole illumination will look more believable and more appealing for that kind of an audience, because Tim Burton has this dark style to make the character itself look too white with really, really harsh, dark makeup around their eyes, and with a really, really kind of a cyan bluish um, sense to the whole scene. So this part here, I would say that it was recorded like in real life, but from that part on, where she's falling through the hole, this was actually not the actress, it was a 3D model. And the scene was actually 3D model too. So the job of the compositor here would be just having the lights working and have the passes. All this 3D. Okay, from this part is actually really interesting because I didn't know you could do that. But this whole scene is green screen. The floor is green screen, the table is green screen, the actress itself is green screen. She was wearing a kind of a corset while they were recording her, and they had tracking points all over her suit and all over the floor. Because since she's going to be small, they needed to find out a way that they could do that but still remain with the actress' face. What they come up with. Since they added the track points on her and on the floor, they knew where they would place the 3D objects. And they modeled her as a 3D object, and they replaced her in that scene using the tracking points. After that, they only they only composite her face on that model. So this is actually all 3D except for her face. This part's almost the same. In this particular scene, she's not a model. She is herself, just the actress, but the whole scene is green screen with tracking points all over again because all of these, they are 3D objects. So with what we learned this month, by having tracking points, we can snap the object to the tracking point so the object won't move. You will only move, only the camera will move, and we have the illusion that this is actually on the scene interacting with her. This scene is interesting too, because again, it's all green screen, everything is green screen, and the only thing that is actual real life in here, it's the actress. For this particular one, they had these two actors. Actually, there were like some more, but I'm going to talk about these two right here. And they were wearing green screen suits with a kind of a platform on their feet, so then they would be tall and fatty. Not sure why they needed. Oh yeah, now I know. They needed to be that tall, so then they would have this contrast with her height. So since they had like tracking points on their body, it was easy for them to model the character and replace the actual footage with this character using the expressions of that actor. You can see right here. So this is the actor's face and this is the model. They used his face to animate the 3D model to look like this. This again, almost same stuff, but in this particular one, they had the props on the set. Again, all green screen again, with tracking points. The actors were there, and this balcony here, they actually modeled that for real life usage because they needed a dog right here. So they added track points around this area here. So then when they placed the 3D model of the dog would walk hitting the floor. And again, the passes, as I told before, Tim Burton has this unique style of having everything blue and everything dark, so the compositor job was just to track, add, and do the passes. Of course, there were more, but I'm just going to be really brief with this.
Like no place on earth.
Cat. This is actually really nice because a lot of people think that since they use actors for the other characters, they wouldn't use one for the cat. But they didn't. The cat is a 3D model. So in this scene, it's a 3D model just interacting with the 3D scene, and they add fur to it. But there is a scene in Alice in Wonderland where Cat interacts with Alice. He actually touches her. So what they had to do, they had to hire an actor or just get someone from their staff to do it, put them in a green screen suit, and make that interact with Alice's arm. He's actually putting a cloth on her arm, and they needed that, and after they did that, they tracked the actor's arm, and they just replaced with the cat's arm.
A land full of wonder, mystery, and danger.
This is nice because most people think that this was actually visual effects added or composite added to it, but it was not. These are all props that they used for their makeup. The only thing that they did for composite was her head. Again, they did the same thing they did for Alice. The actors were acting. They recorded her acting. She was wearing this dress, all the makeup and everything. The only thing they did for that, they just kind of scaled her head using a 3D object. This one right here, everything in this scene is 3D. So there's no tracking point on this scene. He's 3D, the background is 3D, because later on, when Alice is running away from him, let's see if it shows
Say
here.
to survive it, you need to be as mad as a hatter.
No, it
You
doesn't.
need to be as mad as a hatter.
But on this scene, Alice is gonna run away from the creature. So they put her running. She was actually wearing the dress, so they didn't add any checkpoints to the dress because they didn't need to replace that with the model. They only needed to record her. While she was running, the background was all green screen with tracking points, and that's really good when you want to add this in that scene.
Some say to survive it, you need to be as mad as a hatter. Which luckily, I am.
So there is this part in Alice, probably it's not gonna be shown in the video of the breakdowns, but there's a part where Alice is hanging on the Mad Hatter's hat. What they did for that? It's okay. What they did with that, they recorded Johnny Depp's face. Yep. They recorded Johnny Depp's face with the hat. It was all green screen with some track points in there. And then they recorded her interacting with a prop. It was actually a green screen platform with tracking points in there too. And she was hanging from that platform with an actor underneath her, bouncing her from side to side. So then when they finished all with the recording, they replaced the tracking points with a 3D model, and they did the same thing they did for Alice on this part right here where she drinks the little potion. They just picks up her head and composite over that model.
Alice, you did.
This part is funny because Johnny Depp is actually talking to a stick. He is. He's talking to a stick. You can see right here, as I'm gonna show you on the breakdown later. So Johnny Depp is talking to a stick. She's a stick. They were both recorded separately, her part and his part. But the reason why they needed a stick here was because they needed to create the illusion that she was smaller than him. So it was a green stick with a tracking point on it. So when she was done, they could only replace that stick with her while he was talking to the stick.
Terribly late, you know. Naughty.
Okay, now let's go to the breakdowns. Again, this scene is really nice again, and it's actually interesting the way they did it, because this part right here was recorded with her. So they modeled this part in real life, so then she could interact with that for shading, for lighting information, because she's interacting with that. Besides from that, this part right here was all green screen with tracking points, because this tree right here, all the flowers and everything, they're all 3D models, so they needed those tracking points so that they could place them correctly. After that, they actually modeled this part right here in 3D too, so then they have more control over all the shadows and over all the lighting. Yeah, this is all the concept art first. Yeah, this is a 3D model. That's what they were recording with all the tracking points. Now the final result you guys saw right at the beginning. Here I almost already went over this one while seeing the trailer. Again, they added tracking points to these characters right here, because later on they were replaced to the models, and the face, it looks like their faces because they were using that as a reference right here. So then they could animate the face the exact way the actor was acting.
Hello. Hola. Hello. Put it over here for now, baby, because you can't go in the room.
Oh, hi. Hi,
Pizza
that's
here.
so nice, babe.
So
Kind of.
this is the part where she falls down from the hole and then she lays down. Now this part, it was actually the actors doing that with all the tracking points in here, so then they could add the 3D objects. But from the part where she's falling, that's actually all 3D, which is shown right here. So this is all 3D. It's a model, and then they just add the props and put the model interacting with the props. Now this is a part of the trailer I showed you guys where they recorded her with the green screen suit and with the green screen scene because they needed her to go small gradually. With that said, they replaced her with a 3D model, and to look believable, to look like her face, they just composited her face on top of that model. It's gonna be shown right here. Look at the 3D model right here and what they did with her face. The funny part is that they could have done the rabbit and the little rat without using actual people, but yeah, they had tracking points on them too because they're gonna be later on replaced by those models. On the trailer I kinda explained that, but this scene is all 3D and it's gonna show her running away from that. She's running on a green screen, and then later on they just added this to the green screen with the tracking points they tracked on this scene right here.
I think it's Sarah.
Took everything out.
I think it's Sarah. That's okay. I'll do it later.
And again, just adding passes so then it will look more believable throughout the scene. Now this part's actually interesting because she was actually talking to just planes of green screen except for this frog. Because she interacts with this frog, she actually touches this frog's mouth. So they needed a more exact replica for this frog right here. Probably just not gonna show in this video, but if you guys are interested, you guys can go to YouTube and search for that. About the cat throughout the whole movie he was just a 3D model, except for the parts where he was interacting with the actress. They needed to hire a person to do the interaction right here. So then later on they could place his arm with cat's arm. Yeah, this is the part where Johnny Depp is talking to a stick. This part is actually nice because it shows this guy working on Nuke. On this part of the scene, the tea party, he is actually working a hero shot with the green screen behind it, so then probably he's gonna add it later, the objects on this scene. But right now he's only working on Johnny Depp's eye because the Mad Hatter's changed the eye size.
Okay, just so everybody in here knows, if you didn't know, there's a thing on the back of this to hook up to your computer. It's 1440 by 1080.
What?
So you can see your stuff on here bigger on your computer.
Okay. I'll do that.
I was like,
So-
what's up with the air?
So for this part right here, what's actually happening, everything here is 3D except for his head. They use the same process they used for Alice when she was drinking the potion to turn her small. And then they later on added the fog, which we actually did that for project 3, so it's basically the same principle. And I think probably that's it. Yeah, and this is more like kind of a breakdown of how they put the people in there, and they just add passes. And I was gonna show her fighting with nothing. I'm telling you, you have to be an awesome, great actress for you to do that. Fighting with nothing, pretend there's a dragon right there. But yeah, there's not gonna have any breakdowns here. So I'm done with the project.